What a week, eh? So on Monday, I said look out for the all-time high happening this week, or at least before the end of May. On Wednesday, on the video for the Golden Cross, I said watch for the pullback. We've had the pullback. So Bitcoin went past 111K, new all-time highs. We then had the passing of the Genius Act has gone through, all very positive, all very bullish. Trump had his dinner for the Trump token holders. That's gone through. Democrats aren't happy about it, so we'll see what comes out of that in the long run. We've had Cardano's Charles Hoskinson accused of redirecting $619 million of unclaimed ADA tokens. So 318 million, I think it was, ADA tokens, if I remember correctly from the article. That was during the 2021 Allegra hard fork. He apparently used the Genesis keys without the community approval. He denies all these claims, obviously, and he states that unspendable tokens were donated to Intersect. So we've got an audit pending on that, but it really does raise a controversial question around Cardano's decentralized governance. You then had all the news around SUI, okay? So you had the hack of SUI, SUI's Satus DEX, I think it was called, lost 223 million, okay? So they exploited the smart contracts flaws. Validators coordinated by the SUI Foundation, I think it was like 75 was all it took. They froze the hackers' transactions. Now, I don't know where you sit on this, but I mean, I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? It's good they could freeze the transactions, but that kind of goes against what crypto is meant to be all about and the decentralization aspect, because obviously SUI is a centralized project, whereas something like obviously Bitcoin or Litecoin or Casper, they're decentralized, right? So you wouldn't be able to do that with those projects. So Casper, as we know, it's gone from one block per second to 10 blocks per second. It's solved the trilemma. This is one of the reasons that I'm bullish on Casper, and a lot of people are bullish on it, because I really like that decentralized side of that and the way the tokens are spread amongst the community as well. That's really important. But this is something you're going to get with centralization. So one of the big things for centralized projects was always their speed, but some of those decentralized projects are now starting to catch up to that. So these are things that you really need to start thinking about maybe a bit more when you're looking at what to invest in. But again, there's definitely a place for all these centralized projects as well. You just have to be aware of what you're getting into. You have to be aware that they can stop and wind back transactions and do all those sorts of things as well with a small amount of people controlling the whole network. That's one of the things. Like, I'm invested in SUI, but that's one of the things you have to be aware can happen. And if you're okay with that, then absolutely fine. But anyway, let's have a look at the markets for the day. Let's get those seeing eyes on, eh? Okay, so what we can see is we've got Bitcoin. As I said, we've had that pullback a bit. So we had that all-time high that it reached, which was around 111. Where is it? Here it is, 111,814. This is CoinGecko. I know other things will have slightly different prices, but look, potato, it's there or thereabouts. What we're then seeing is a little bit of a pullback here. As I said in that Golden Cross video, to be expected, okay? If we then go back and we look down, it's a red day across the market. But again, we're looking at the weekly today. That's the focus. So we're still seeing a lot of green for the week, even though we've had this pullback. Now, Hyperliquid has been going quite well. It's been one of the moving coins each week for a while now. That's up 22% for the week. So it will definitely be one of the biggest movers for the week, if not the biggest in the top 100. I'm just seeing if there's anything bigger. FET as well, 12%. Here we go, WorldCoin, 29, so that beats it out. And what else we got? 22 for Fartcoin. We can always count on Fartcoin. I feel like since I started this channel, I've been talking about that every single stream, just about. Virtual's up 14. What do we got here? Dog. So the memes are still getting a bit of movement, 16%, and you got Floki to round out the 100 at 8.5%. So, and if we look at the trending tokens for the week, so this is CoinGecko's trending tokens for the week. We can see SUI's in there. I'd probably expect that, especially with everything that's gone on with it over the last couple of days. Hyperliquid's still up there. You got Ondo, which again is one of those big RWAs. You got Potenza as well. That's a big AI play. What else we got over here? Satus. So that's probably the other one for, with SUI and why we're hearing about that. WorldCoin, as we've just seen, has had quite a pump. And again, you got a few memes in there as well. Okay, but if we jump into the crypto bubbles quickly, just to have that zoomed out view of everything, we can see the memes, as I said, are moving. And now this is set to the weekly, not the daily. So that's why you'll see a lot more green in this. Saturday's the weekly view of the markets for me. PMart, Dog, Popcat, Meow, Mooding, the usual suspects are in there as green. And again, similar for there. Now, if we jump in quickly and have a look at the indicators, we can see fear and greed has come back now. It's at 66. Yesterday it was at 78, so it's had a massive pullback. Red market. Everyone panics. If you watched my video on the Golden Cross, I would assume you haven't been panicking because we expected this. This is nothing unusual. We've seen it 2 out of the last 3 Golden Crosses. We've seen a pullback after the Golden Cross. And what it's done, it's really setting up for that next leg up, right? So, again, for me, this pullback's actually positive. I feel it's positive. So, I'm looking for if there's any opportunities out there in the projects that I'm really bullish on, where I can get a little bit more DCA and improve my positions. The dominance went up for Bitcoin to 61, and you'd probably expect that with a new all-time high. But again, once we start seeing that come down, we can really get the feeling we're in that alt market. In saying that, the market cap's up. So that was at 3.4 last week. Volumes are up. That was at 105. It's now at 167. Monthly returns are up. That last time we looked at that a week ago, that was at about 7%. It's now at 11.8. Even the indicators, even though the market's red, it's green on the week. For all the indicators except the Pi Cycle top, which is flat. And it takes a bit more to move that, okay? The net ETF flows. Now, remember, we get this data from farside.co.uk. So we can see here from the 19th. Like last week, it finished quite positive. But then this week, we started off strong. And Thursday, we were still really strong, right? At over 900 million for the day. In this red market, we've had a negative day to finish it off. But again, for the week, we're at 2.3 billion inflows, net inflows into those ETFs. So again, very positive, very positive. Okay, so let's have a look at the categories now. We can see that Layer 1 has outperformed the other categories. Now, I know there are other categories out there. These are the ones that I follow the most, so I'll report on these every week as part of this video every week on the Saturdays. I know you've got things like perpetuals that are outperforming. They're at 17 or 18% for the week. That's predominantly driven by Hyperliquid, which makes up most of that category, probably 80% of the category or more. The reality is I look at these and it would probably fall into one of the other buckets anyway. Layer 1s, they're being driven, like if you have Bitcoin hit all-time high, Bitcoin's a Layer 1. So let's have a look at the Layer 1s. So this is the category Layer 1 up here, you can see. And we can see here, Bitcoin, it's a 4.6. So it's outperforming the rest of that Layer 1 category. But again, it's 61% of the overall crypto market. So the strength in Bitcoin, if it's outperforming those other categories, there's a good chance that the L1s are going to be outperforming those other categories as well. Now, storage, that's like your Filecoin type stuff. That's the worst performer for the week at 3.8, down 3.2, which isn't much for crypto, as we all know. look, the gap is a 3.2 negative from storage to a 3.4 positive in layer one. So there's not a massive spread in the categories for the week. Stablecoins has had more volume. It's only up, 1 billion. So it's 248. It was 247, I think, last week off the top of my head. It's only up a little bit on the market cap, but it's up on the volume. Again, we'd like to see that market cap coming down. We'd like to see Bitcoin dominance coming down, and hopefully we'll start to see that as we get through this pullback after the Golden Cross, and we start to take that next leg up as we move into the bull run proper, as I like to call it, with the altcoins. Now, I just want to go to the Golden Cross just to show you what I was talking about. Okay, so when I did the video on Wednesday, I'm pretty sure it was. So this was the Golden Cross January. Okay, so this is back in January 23. We can see we had the Golden Cross, which is the 50-day SMA crossing the 200-day SMA. We had a cross, then we had a pullback. Okay. The next one, we didn't get a pullback. It went a bit flat for a while though. Okay. So that was October 23. Then we had this one here, which again, this was October 24. And what we can see here is went up for a little bit, and then we had the pullback again after the Golden Cross. So what we're seeing now, where we've had that pullback, is not unusual. But after each of those, where we had those pullbacks, you can see the market then continued to go up. Okay? Down, market then went up. So it was setting itself for that next leg up. So for me, I'm quite confident that that's what's happening here, because I still feel we're going to have that top in Q4. So look, I am trying to keep this a bit quicker today, try and condense these down a little bit. Saturdays is the day that I'm doing the weekly wrap up now. So hopefully you got a bit of information out of that. All in all, I think things are tracking along the way we would expect them to track along heading into this bull market. Nothing's changed. Expected the all-time high this week. We got it. Expected a pullback after the Golden Cross. We're getting it. I still expect that we're going to get the all-time high, the top of the bull run, in Q4 this year. Nothing I've seen this week has changed my perspective on that. So I still think that's where we're going to end up. I think we're just getting more government regulation that's coming through that's supporting the industry. We're seeing more states. I know Texas is about to pass theirs. So, we're seeing more states coming on board, better regulation coming on, more corporates getting into it, more countries looking at it. Everything just seems to be positive for me. It's the feeling I think we get just before we really start that altcoin run, the bull market run into Q4. What are your thoughts? Where do you think we are? Do you think we've still got that run to come and we're going to finish around Q4, or when do you think we're going to finish? Or do you think actually we've started the downward bear now? Leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Look, anyway, I hope you get value out of these videos. If you do, hit that like button, smash the subscribe, click the bell notification so you're notified every time I release a video, and I'll see you in the next one.